G'day guys, Aussie here. I should probably go ahead and answer those questions that you guys have asked me. Here we go. So I guess we'll just start from the ones on TikTok and we'll work our way down from top to bottom. Zeno asks, how long did it take for me to find my persona? Well, to be honest with you, it really didn't take me all that long at all. I've always liked the white and black colour scheme, or even, you know, the shades of black and grey and all that. And I've just always liked blue eyes, so I thought, you know, why not have him black and white? So I figured that'll do. And I've always liked canines and all that sort of stuff, so that's where my canis come into play. And then when I got into VR chat, I saw people using the Nardoragron, and I really did like the Nardoragron, so I made a Nardoragron too. Of course I use my canis as well, but it just depends on what mood I'm in, really. And of course you got Shadow. He asked, why am I stinky but cute? Not stinky. No! No! I'm not stinky! And my good Scottish mate, Sark, he asks, if I suddenly come into a lot of money, millions, what's the first thing I'd do? Well, to be honest with you, I would really love to own a transport and logistics company. So, like, I don't know what I'd call it, probably fluffy transportation or something like that. I don't really know. But anyway, yes, I would run trucks all over Australia. We'd have small depots in towns, you know, to do local deliveries and all that sort of stuff. So, kind of like, I suppose you'd say like FedEx or Australia Post or, you know, just that, or even Lynn Fox. Yeah. Yeah, good question, mate. Cheers. Solitaire. He asked, how did I find the furry community? Well, that's a good question, actually. I've always known about the furry community, and looking back now, I've always been a bit of a furry. I sort of didn't really get all that much into it until I come across a TikTok video of a fellow VR chat furry. And I'm like, that's kind of cute. Why do I like this so much? And I just decided in the end, I looked more into it, and then I decided, yeah, I like this community. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. There's obviously, for some stupid, like everything, there are things that give it a bad rap. That's all people seem to think about when they think about furries. But anyway, I can assure you that is not the case at all. And yeah, and then I just got more into it, and then I decided to start making content around the furry community, solely on VR chat. Not gonna lie, I have got plans on getting a suit made. Gonna go talk to a suit maker at Furdu, which currently at the time of filming this, it is in 2 weeks' time. My old mate Drew, he says, look at the cutie, that's his question. Mate, I'm not cute, alright? Mate, I'm not cute. I will get one of those Commodores you own, and I will do a massive burnout in the front of your house. Yeah, because that's a real threat. User by the name of Volkswagen Polo. Good name, I like it. They just asked what part of Australia do I come from. Well, I'm not going to obviously give you exact location. Yep, here's my latitude and longitude and all that. No, I come from Victoria, which is, I guess you could say, apart from Tasmania, it's the most southern state. But people will get confused with South Australia. Anyway, I come from Victoria, Australia. A couple of them have just asked what kind of car do I drive and what my favourite type of brand of car is. I'm just going to loop all these into one, obviously. I personally drive a 2020 Mitsubishi Triton MR model, the GSR trim. I'm a bit partial to my Mitsubishi Tritons. I do like them. I've actually owned 3 models so far. I owned the MN, which was in 2013. Oh, well, that was a 2013 model. I then traded that in for the MQ model, which is the first ever brand new car I've ever owned. A couple of years after buying that, I ended up deciding to sell that, and I ended up getting the MR model because I wanted specifically the 6-speed automatic transmission, which the MQ model did not have a 6-speed automatic option, and so I went for the 6-speed manual. But I ended up going for the 6-speed auto now because at the time, and even now, I still do a lot of heavy towing and stuff like that, and automatic transmissions have become so much better than what they were back in the 80s and the 90s and even the early 2000s, you know. The autos weren't all that great, but yeah, right now these days, they're really good. And as far as my favourite brand of car, I don't really have a favourite brand. I mean, to me, a car is as good as what it is designed and purchased to do. So, for example, if you were to buy a 79 series Toyota Land Cruiser, contrary to what a lot of people in the city do, yes, I'm looking at you city folk, you wouldn't really want to drive that thing around the city, would you? Too big of a vehicle, too heavy on fuel. Let's just be honest, it's too obnoxious for the city. But if you own a farm, mine, you do a lot of forward driving, all that sort of stuff, perfect vehicle, can't go wrong. Nice and simple. I was going to say cheap. They're not cheap, but yeah. Simplicity, way to go. Toyota, reliability, awesome. But as far as my favourite, again, I don't really have a favourite. I mean, yeah. Just as long as it does what you want it to do, who gives a crap what anyone else says? They can go talk rubbish all they want. Doesn't matter. I don't care if you got a $100 car or a $100,000 car. You have a means of transportation, that's all that matters. Does what it's meant to do, who cares? Don't listen to anyone else. Rimuru, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, I do apologise. Just asks, am I Aussie? Yeah. Yes, I'm Aussie, yes. Andy asks, how do you come up with your persona? Yeah, I suppose this is like similar to the question I had earlier. Again, just like the colours and everything, like the whole furry thing. So I'm like, you know what? This is him. He doesn't have a backstory or anything. He's just literally me. He's just me. Supersonic asks, how many protogens does it take to change a light bulb? I don't know. Because every protogen I see keeps eating them. They will just eat the light bulb. I don't know why. I have no light bulbs left because I had a protogen around here last night. He just ate everything. I don't know why. They just like them for some reason. Might be the filament in them. He said it was nice and warm. He's like, oh, this is really warm. Yeah, it's been on. You dingus. And now it's dark because you've just eaten my light bulb. Bloody toasters. And I suppose I got a couple on the YouTube short as well, so I might as well answer those too while I'm here. So somebody asks, what's your favourite video game of all time? Well, my absolute favourite of all time is, I don't know if you guys remember the old Transformers Armada series, but they made a PlayStation 2 game of that. I absolutely loved that. I clocked it so many times, I got it down to probably an hour and a half, maybe an hour and a half speed run time. Not that I actually had any idea what speed running was back then, but I reckon I'd probably have some form of record, even if there is a competition on completing that particular game, which highly unlikely there is, but you know. And of course, somebody says, pin if you love us. I love yous all. I love yous all, so I pin the crap out of that one. I love yous all. You guys are amazing, seriously. I can't thank you guys enough. Thank you. And of course, somebody says, I'm also Australian. I find there are a lot of furries in Australia, but a lot less anti-furries here. Do you agree, and do you want to add anything to that? That is a really good question. And a bit of a story. When I first, I suppose, started getting into this fandom, like I had no idea really what it was. So I knew what it was, but I didn't get into it all that much. So I actually thought that I was one of only a handful of Australian furries. Now I know that just about every furry is Aussie. Anyway, I find that, yes, there is a lot less furry hate here, which is amazing, which is awesome. That mostly probably stems from not a lot of Australians really know, especially the older generation, really don't even know what a furry is. I mean, I've had to explain it to a few of my family members and whatever else. And I'll give you a tip. The number one thing you don't want to do when you're explaining what a furry is go straight to denying the negative things. Okay, so don't go to, we don't, do this, that, whatever else. We're not zoophiles, we're not anything like that, which of course we're not. But if you go ahead and explain that, say that to them straight away, especially the people I've had to explain it to, they will probably automatically think, oh, this person's getting quite defensive. Maybe this is what they are. No, that is not what a furry is. I'm telling you that right now. And, of course, one of my real-life mates had to get involved in this, which is fine. I'm glad he did, actually. He just simply asked me, do birds fly? Yes. They do. They fly like the cheeseburgers I'm going to throw out my bloody sunroof. That's an inside joke. Thank you guys for your questions. I've been wanting to do one of these for a while. I just didn't really get the traction. But now I've got a couple of questions in, so you sure, why not? I will probably do another one of these, providing I get a couple more. I don't really care. You can comment on this video or the current ones, the ones that I've got up. Bye, guys.
Try to find the capital or fight the animals. You're on your own.